This is going so well.
It is. I'm actually really happy. Girl, you did a good job. I'm like trying to talk myself through my
Yes, you are. Hey you guys, welcome back to Wind Down Wednesday with your girl Malay and Jay. As you can see, I'm back with another guest. Y'all, we've been on a roll. we've been bringing these guests in. So if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi y'all, I'm Kay, also known as KFit. I'm on Instagram and TikTok as KAYY_FITT2. But that's me.
Thank you for coming today.
Thank you for having me. Seriously, I'm
excited. I'm excited too because I feel like what you do and what we're going to talk about today is going to be so educational for people, especially for women who are mothers and who are workers, you know, stuff like basically people who are trying to put fitness in their life. I feel like it has a lot to do with our self-esteem or mental health, and I really want to get into all that with you today. But before we get into the topic, let's get into this wine. Let's see. So what did you bring for us today?
All right, we're going to try something new. This is Sutter Home. What's it called? White Zen. Oh, shit. Zinfandel.
Yes.
Zinfandel.
White Zinfandel. I'm not a fan of Zinfandel.
I never had it.
It's weird. It's always tricked me because it's called White Zinfandel, but it's pink like Moscato. So. But it's not sweet like Moscato at all.
It don't look it.
So, so look on the back. Does it have a description of like the taste? Usually they do.
Let's see. Knowledge. Oh, wait. It says medium sweet.
Medium sweet. Okay.
That's what it says.
All right. So that's like a mid. I like a good mid. I say every episode that I am very, very into dry reds. That's my favorite. But I like a little like hint of the fruit, you know. So this one, alright, so y'all, at the store I went out on a limb with this one because I'd never ever seen it ever. So it's a red blend. It's called Knock Knock, and when I looked at it I was like, oh, that sounds like something that's gonna creep up on you. And then they got the big bad wolf on here from like Little Red Riding Hood. So I thought that was cute. I'm like, okay, I kind of like the little like.
It got a vibe to it.
Yeah, I like the theme, and it's called Knock Knock. So I had to get it. I'm like, wow, that's just too eye catching. Like, so what do they say? I don't even know what that means. 80% Tempranillo, 20% Sarah. I don't know what any of that means. But I will get educated and let y'all know on the next episode. I owe them another definition of like another wine that I had. It's over there somewhere empty. Y'all should see how many bodies we got over there, y'all. Those empty bottles is ridiculous, but so alright, so where is our flavor?
It's definitely a cute ass bottle. I will say that.
They suck with the wording though. Like, where are we talking about? This is a government warning.
Oh Lord.
Oh, this is the thing that just says women should not drink alcoholic beverages, blah blah blah. Yeah, they literally don't give us any. That's crazy. So when they said it was going knock knock on creep up on you, that's what they meant in every way, because we don't have a description of the taste. We don't know what's in it. Nothing. So we'll figure that out as we go along.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So let's get into this topic. First of all, you want to do the honors of pouring your wine first?
Yes, let's do it.
They're like, okay, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, we're going to see.
And while we're getting into this wine, we are going to get into the topic as well. And just let us know how you got into fitness. Well, first, I guess you could tell us like what your focus is and how you got into it. Kind of like how we were talking about behind the scenes, just like, you know, how you got into it and your educational background and all that stuff. So
okay, so it's not horrible. It ain't. I don't know.
I feel like
the first
horrible. Little touch of my tongue, I was like, and then it got on it, and I was like,
That's not too bad.
Okay.
It's not too bad. But
it's not.
Basically, my whole thing is about being not just physically fit, but making it a point to help people get mentally fit. In all honesty, mental health is more important to me, or as equally as important as physical health is. And I was actually just talking to someone the other day and was saying, like, they were just asking, like, about the physical side, and I was just basically saying, like, if I could tell you where to start, start with your mental health. Because if you don't start with at least trying to figure out how to be, like, working on your mental, you're not gonna, the physical side, you'll be at it, but you're gonna fall off quick.
Yeah.
You're gonna fall off real quick. So I really struggled with a little bit of postpartum depression after, really with all my kids, but a lot after my daughter. I just didn't like myself. It wasn't on an aspect of, like, you know, I don't, like, want my kids or anything. I love my kids, but it was really, like, self-love. Like, I did not like how I looked. I didn't put much effort into myself. I felt like I was just a mom. I really just was just going with the flow of life. Was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I want to be. Like, so I started exercising because I needed to relieve stress. I was very stressed, very overwhelmed, very overstimulated. Having 3 kids back to back to back. And like I was telling you earlier, my oldest 2 are on the spectrum, so they come with a little bit more of different type of, like, energy that has to be given to them. It was just a lot going on, and I was young.
What is that? What do you mean by that?
On the spectrum?
Yeah.
They're both autistic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you gotta pay more attention.
Exactly. Exactly. So my oldest son, he's like somewhat verbal. He has signs and words, not all the way there, but he didn't speak till he was 4. But my middle son, he still doesn't have words or signs, and he's very, like, high sensory. So, like, he gets overstimulated a lot. But my daughter, I mean, she's just a little 3-year-old going on 15. So yeah, so I started just going in my basement and, like, doing some jumping jacks or something, and I, like, threw it up on Snapchat and Instagram, and people are like, you should, like, go live sometime and work out. And I was like, I never thought about that. So on Instagram, I started going live at 10 p.m. during the pandemic. This was prime pandemic, like 2020. Nobody was doing nothing. So I was like, all right, bet. I'm going to go live. So
that was the best time to get started doing content.
Literally. So I went live every night at 10 p.m. Was, like, posting, telling people, like, if you want to hop on, I'm going to do this workout. And you can hop on and do it. And it kind of, like, skyrocketed from there. We were working out every single day at 10 p.m.
That's what's up.
Every single day. And then when the weather got nice, I started, like, telling people, like, slide out to the park. I'm going to be up at the park. Come to the park. We can work out. And then, I don't know, it kind of just, like, took off from there. And I was just so happy with myself because when you exercise, it just releases different type of toxins, and it, you know, takes stress away, and it takes depression away. And then I started feeling good about myself. I started to feel like after I finished a workout, like, wow, I could complete anything right now. Like, I felt like a superhero or something.
I love that.
Yeah, but that, honestly, that's pretty much, like, how it all began. I just was tired of feeling, I guess, like, sorry for myself, pretty much. And I was like, you know what? Nobody's gonna, like, make this change for me. I could, you know, be not feeling well or whatever. And I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. It doesn't matter how much love you have, kids, any of that. Nobody is gonna make you change for yourself until you decide, you know what, I'm gonna put my foot down. Let me start doing something for myself. And go from there.
Absolutely true. I'm so happy you said, like, everything you said was perfect, swear, because that is the absolute truth. Like, really, just first of all, I'm gonna backtrack and, like, touch on everything I took in from that. So
there was a lot.
Right. So one thing that really stood out to me was how you were saying you found this thing while you were in a tough time. And the reason why that's important to highlight to me is because a lot of people, when we don't know what to do, or like you said, when we're, like, feeling purposeless, basically, or, like, we feel like we don't have anything to give the world, or the world don't have nothing to give to us, that's when you get real creative, because you start thinking like, I feel like that's when your mental health goes into survival mode. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like survival mode. Like, hold on, we gotta get past this. We gotta figure out what we're gonna do. So you're like, you know what? I just went to the basement and started working out, because that's something that I feel like, you know, a lot of people do, and then some of the times people ignore that. So that's why I wanted to really touch on that, because if you get an idea, sometimes the first thing that we think to do, instead of just acting on it, the first thing we'll do is talk to somebody about it. Like, yo, alright, so I've been sitting around, you know, I ain't been doing nothing, but I'm thinking about doing this. What you think about it? And somebody could shoot your dream down. I love the fact that you literally just got up and did it. And then, like you said, you posted it, and then people hopped right on it. So that shows that, I feel like you kind of walked right into your purpose on an accident. You know what I mean? Like, it showed how people responded to it, that that's something that you were meant to do. That's something that you was placed here to do, and people completely responded to it immediately, because everybody needs that. Everybody needs some physical motion. Everybody needs something to do, especially during a pandemic. So that's powerful, because we were all losing it. Like,
oh my gosh,
we were losing it.
Literally.
We're like, we got to keep busy. But yeah, that's very important. And then you also talked about the being a mom. I have a cousin, she's like my best friend, and she also had 2 kids back to back. So she's told me a lot of times about postpartum and having another kid during that, and not having the chance to get back to herself. So, like, you know, kind of losing yourself and being a mom. We actually just recorded an episode, and she spoke on that. So I kind of want you to speak a little bit more on that, like, just with the whole being a mom and being able to stay active and keep consistent, and, like, you know, utilizing fitness to stay balanced, if you will.
Day by day. And, you know, naturally you'll sit there and say, like, I got this. Like, I'm gonna do this every single day. The next day come and you can't do it because some other BS then popped up, and now you're like just spiraling downward again. So yeah, so like I said, I had a lot of dark days, and I just remember telling myself one time, like, I almost like got upset with myself, because as a mom, like, you at a point you have to realize, like, I'm not saying that you can't feel anything, but the more you feel and the more you allow yourself to seep into a depression, it doesn't do anything but affect your children. And I'm all about trying to make it a point to break generational curses and do whatever I can so that it doesn't, I don't know if traumatize is the right word or whatever, but, like, basically trickle onto them, that's going to alter how they are or be affected later in their life. So I basically had to, like, talk that shit to myself and be like, yo, you gotta get it together. You gotta get it together. So there was a book that I had read called The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. And when I had read that book, it really helped me shift my mindset. It helped me evolve, I feel like, to the person I am today, because just like anyone, moms, it's all about your mindset. It's all about understanding why things happen and how to handle things and pull yourself through things. And, you know, like I said, not that I didn't pour into my family or my children or anything like that, but I made it a point to pour more into myself, because I had to tell myself, you're overly pouring into all these things around you, your children, life, you know, family, all of that, but you're not pouring anything back into yourself, and that's not doing anything for you or your kids. Because if I can't give them the best version of myself, how can then they be the best versions of their self? And
that's a common issue. It's not. It's been made to seem selfish to put yourself first, like to be okay with putting yourself first, especially as, like, a mother or a wife or a sister, or, you know what I mean, like, when there's people that you love unconditionally, you feel selfish if you put yourself first. But little do we know that putting ourselves first is putting them, you know, still in a very good position, because, like you said, if you can pour into yourself, make sure you're overflowing, so that when you are pouring into somebody else, you're not running dry and you're not giving them any half step. You know what I mean? And that's something that I talk about a lot on this show, because for real, because we especially as women, tend to do that. And I'm not saying men don't, but I feel like women really tend to do that because women put themselves last all the time. Like, it's always man, kids, you know, family, everything else but you. And then you turn and then you get to a point where you're not capable of doing for anybody else, and then they're looking at you like, well, you know, you done set these high expectations for yourself, and rather than pouring into you because they're not used to you needing anything, they're looking at you like, oh, well, what's going on with you? You fell off, and that's just draining you even more. That's ripping you apart. So because we're the only people that know how we feel, we're literally responsible for putting ourselves first and making sure we're good, you know. So like you say, you can be the best mom that you can be and put the most into your kids that you can. So I'm definitely happy you said that. And do you feel like the working out, because you're saying how like you have to put your mental health first before the physical health, do you feel like working out can help with clearing your mind a bit? And also, do you feel like it helped with the postpartum?
Yeah, definitely. Now, I'm not saying, you know, that if your mental health isn't together that you shouldn't do any form of physical no, you need to do some type of physical activity. I'm just saying, like, as far as like, you got to be realistic with thinking that you're going to be at the gym 5 to 7 days. Oh, good. You got to be realistic with thinking like you're about to be there 5 to 7 days out of a week, and you feel me, like you're going to get this body that you want in a month and a half. That's not going to happen, especially if your mental is not there. But yes, I do, you know, like physical activity, it, you know, decreases depression. It increases self-esteem. It helps release these toxins that just make you happy. Like, you really do feel great about yourself whenever you do physical activity. And in all honesty, that's my biggest point whenever anyone works out with me, or, you know, like I'm helping people work out or posting reels or anything. I'm just trying to let you know that I'm going to put you through that work, but you're going to get through it. And it's that satisfaction of getting through it and feeling like, wow, I accomplished something that I didn't think that I was going to accomplish. And the more that you do that and surprise yourself and realize, you know, like you're stronger than what you think, that then helps even more. So yes, physical activity, I just say start light. Don't think that you're going to be in there, you feel me, for 5 hours or, you know, running 3 miles. You're not going to do that. 30 minutes on the treadmill, on a speed walk is cool for you. That's a great accomplishment.
You said on a speed walk, somewhere, no, listen, literally. For real. And you'll feel it too. Like, if you're going from nothing to a nice little walk every day, you will feel that, and it will make a difference.
Listen, a 30-minute workout is just as good as a 2-hour workout. It literally is. If you're just constantly moving, don't let nobody knock your hustle. Don't let nobody knock your hustle. Everybody's journey is different. Everybody's journey is different, and it takes time. So yes, physical activity helps aid with the mental health, but it's really just a beautiful thing. Honestly, it really is.
It is so satisfying because, see, I'm a person, I really do like to work out, but I have an issue with consistency. And then, like, right now in this moment in time, I'm like the heaviest I've ever been. So I get real discouraged. Like, I'll go to the gym and like I can still do a lot of stuff that I used to do, but it's harder for me. And it also, I feel like I don't see the results as fast because now I have more body. Like, before I would be like, oh well, I skipped a week at the gym, or I skipped a month, and then I'll go back and be back like I never left for 2 weeks. And I'm cool, but now it's like I'll go there for a couple weeks and I feel like, dang, I'm just not seeing a change. And I'm a firm believer that diet helps a lot too. So I started getting my eating habits together because I'm like, listen, I cannot be going to the gym and eating fried chicken and thinking that I'm going to see some results.
No.
And also, with the mental thing, food, it really has a lot to do with your mental as well. Like, I told you off camera, I had just did like a fast where I was having fruit. Like, I went through different phases. So I'm a pescatarian right now. But I was eating chicken before, like right before this fast, but I knew that I wanted to drop that. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to go on a fast so that I can, you know, clear some toxins, detox, and then I can drop chicken. So I went through a phase where I did pescatarian, foods only for a week. Then I did straight vegetarian. Then I did vegan. So, like, you know, I dropped the dairy and all that stuff. Went vegan. Then I did straight liquid, which was smoothie and just water. And, like, every time, like, when I was first thinking about it, I was nervous. I'm like, oh, it's going to be tough. Like, I'm going to want some hot, good food. I'm going to want some chicken. I'm going to want... But then, like, as I was going on, like you said, that satisfaction of being like, oh, okay, I can And I'm like, well, shoot, I'm gonna go a little bit longer. I'm gonna do this again because now I showed myself that I could do it. And it wasn't easy. Like, of course, there was times where I was hungry, and I'm like, dang, I just really want something hot. Like when I'm doing that water and smoothie, I'm like, I want something hot. I want some soap. I want some seasoning. Like. But it got easier, and you get more proud of yourself as you go on. So I feel like even that, like with playing with the diet, having a clearer mind because you don't got heavy stuff weighing you down. One, and two, just telling yourself that you can do it, like coaching yourself through that will definitely, I feel like, kind of help even in the gym.
Oh yeah, food is a fuel to your body. The more you fuel your body with the right things and less of the wrong things, like you just said. You're obviously going to see the physical difference, but you're going to see a mental change because a lot of the foods that we consume are pumped with chemicals and stuff that cause a lot of things. Stress, anxiety, hyperactivity, like a lot of stuff. So like, again, nobody's perfect. Nobody's saying, you got to be strict and be like, you know what? I can only eat this many calories in a day. Blah, blah, blah. Like, that takes time too. So
that's stressing itself when you're new to it.
So advice that I give to like beginners is like try not to overstress yourself with the term diet. Think of it as like a lifestyle change. Consume 3 meals in a day, portion control still, 3 small snacks in between. It's all about time management. It's all about portion control. And as far as like cutting weight, you just want to be consuming less calories than what you're burning.
Okay, yeah.
You see, so on top of that, it's just one of those things where it's like baby steps. You're not going to be perfect. You're not going to be this person who, is going to meal prep every single day.
Right.
If you can, set aside some time and be like, you know what? I'm going to try to meal prep for 1 day this week. And I'm going to try to make it a point to focus on my portions this week. Start with little baby goals. Then as you continuously do that and you see that you can stick to it, then add something else to it. Because it takes 6 months to form a habit.
6 months?
6
A lot of people like to say 21 days.
6 months. 6 months of consistency.
That's good to know.
That is the biggest thing that I learned of the quickest way of people falling off of physical activity. So if you're in the gym now, if you're going to the gym, if you are going 5 days a week, realistically, if you're new, I mean, that might fall out because you're going to feel burnt out.
Yeah.
I would just suggest cutting back your days the next week. Cutting back your days instead of taking a whole week off, because the moment you take that week off, like you just said, it's going to be that much harder because you're like, man, I don't feel like going.
Yes, you get used to the easier part.
Every time.
That sucks too because like you'll think like, okay, I'm gonna take a week break and then I'm gonna get back and I'm gonna be and then that week come up and you didn't got in the habit of going straight home from work, not thinking about the gym. Oh my goodness.
Chilling.
Yes.
Breathing.
Chilling. Yes. You like, oh, well, I did this little yoga today. I got a little movement and I got a lot of steps at work. Like, no, that's not the same.
Literally.
That's me. That is me. But when I'm going. I really, it's weird because something I realize about myself, and I know a lot of other people are probably like this. I need guidance, and like I absolutely need a trainer because I can't do it for myself right now. Like I'm not enough to tell me, come on, just keep going. We can do one more. Like sometimes, yeah, but no, because it's kind of like I feel like other people on the outside looking in. I mean, on the outside looking in can see you and be like, dude, I know what burnt out looks like. That's not it. Like you think you're burnt out, but you're not. So pick that up one more time or 2 more times, and then you don't want to disappoint the person. So you're just like, okay, and I'm telling you, it makes a heck of a difference because when I have an accountability person or like a trainer that's really able to be on me, it's so helpful. And then like you said, pushing yourself to see that you can do something that you didn't think you could do is so encouraging versus being alone and being like, all right, I'm tired already, dang, I did an hour yesterday, now I can only do 20 minutes and I feel poop. You get discouraged faster versus having someone that knows how to say, all right, you're tired because you're doing the same weightlifting thing that you did yesterday, instead of just like maybe walking for 30 minutes or doing a lighter workout. And I feel like that guidance is so important. Okay, so I did want to ask you something about whenever you are in the midst of working out and you feel like, dang, I just don't feel like doing it today, like, what is something that you tell yourself or that you tell your clients that you work with to encourage them to just go, you know, even though you're really tired or you might not have the mental capacity to go today? Like, do you take that break and try to do something light, or do you just encourage them to still go, or encourage yourself to still go? And then when you are working with clients, how do you keep them encouraged when they feel like, oh my God, I just can't. Just get to crying and I'm glad I'm hurt. Like, what do you do to make them be like, take that last push? Like, you can push up one more time. Like, how do you get them to believe you, basically?
So, as far as myself goes, I mean, rest days are equally as important. I try to like pay attention to my body. Like, if my body is really telling me like, girl, you need to sit down, I'm gonna listen to my body. But sometimes, you know, the mind can easily be manipulated, and I just like, I use the gym as a form of like release a lot, especially like if I'm just like mentally struggling. So I just tell myself like, look, you know, if you don't go, you're gonna feel horrible. You already are feeling away right now, so why don't you go?
Right.
And sometimes I go with a plan, but for the most part I go and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna just hit these things a little light and kind of just see. I'm gonna just start.
Right.
I always start with stretching. That's honestly, I bring myself back to center that way. That's how I start, and then from there I'm like, all right, I might touch this, and in the midst of that I'm like, you know what, I think I might want to do this. So I kind of just go with the flow, honestly. And as far as like keeping my clients and stuff motivated, honestly, I just try to create a vibe. I try to create as much of a vibe as possible. Like, you could really ask them. Like, I try to make it as fun. Like, that's why I even tell them, like, don't think of me as like no person. I don't even like for them to use the word. I'm like, think of me as like your coach, literally.
Yeah.
Or like transformation coach, lifestyle coach. Like, I want this to be as personable as possible because I really want to see you win. Like, I genuinely, and I'm not saying that like personal trainers or anything don't, but I'm just saying me personally.
Yeah.
I like to build that relationship because I honestly do care about everybody that I'm helping.
Right.
Whether I know them or don't know them, or, you know, they've invested, like, believed in me and invested into me and asked for my help. I honestly want to see them be the best versions of themselves because I really, you know, like I said, mental health is so important to me.
Yeah.
Physical health is, but like it goes hand in hand. Mentally fit and physically fit go hand in hand. So I'll create a vibe. I'm dancing. I know y'all seen them in my reels lately. I've been trying to show it a little bit more. I'm dancing. I'm singing. You know, like, it's cool. I tell them, like, y'all could cuss me out.
Right.
You could call me the B word. You could say you hate me. I don't care because I have to cuss myself out sometimes. Like, I be really telling myself with my headphones on, like, why did you do this to yourself?
You said you cuss me out.
Yes, like, who told you to go ahead and make this workout? Like, why did you decide to do this? But afterwards, I feel so accomplished in myself. So really, for real, like, all right, like you said, push-ups. So say they're doing push-ups or whatever, and I'll be like, all right, bet. So the goal is like 10 or 15 a day. And they'll be like, can I do like assisted push-ups or and I'll let them do that, you know, because it's no knock. I mean, even though a regular push-up is cool, we're gonna eventually get there.
Right.
I'm a see where you at, and I might push you a little bit, but if they're struggling or whatever, honestly, I could cuss on here.
Yeah.
Honestly, I talk that shit to them. I'd be like, you're not no bitch.
Yeah.
You're not no bitch. You're not no bitch. Come on, push through, push through. I'm all about, and maybe it's the athlete in me, the competitive side, I don't know, but I'm really like, you gotta talk that shit to yourself. You are your biggest hype man. You're your biggest hype man. So if you're not gonna do it, I'm gonna do it.
Right.
And then I'm gonna apologize, you know, hopefully you don't get offended by no words. It's all out of love. It's all out of love, but I'm gonna talk that shit to you because you can do it. You're stronger than what you think. I know what a limit looks like.
Right.
You might, a lot of times, like you just said, a lot of times we make excuses and we don't really know what being pushed to our limit really feels like or means. Like, and that's why I'll ask them, like, if they're telling me like a pain is happening, I'm like, okay, well, is it like you're feeling like an injury is about to occur, or you're just a little sore? I'm just a little sore. I bet then we're still going. That's how you're supposed to feel.
We're still going.
That's how you're supposed to feel. It's not about, and I do like a lot of stuff for time.
Right.
So it helps, I think, with people's mental, so they're not so fixated on the number. They're like, okay, bet, I just gotta get through whatever this is. And then you'd be surprised how many sets or exercises or whatever reps you really get through in a time, and how much you could really push yourself.
Right.
But you're never going to feel defeated.
Right.
Ever. I don't ever allow my people to feel defeated. They don't ever feel defeated. And we give high fives around here.
We give high fives.
We give out high fives.
That really, no, listen, I swear, it might sound so, like, simple and childish, but a high five really will make you feel like, yeah, go to the I'm telling you, because I'm so, like, I don't know, like I said, just like with encouraging myself to keep going, it's difficult because, like you said, we don't actually know our limits if we're not educated on fitness or know the difference between, all right, like, I'm going to strain myself if I do this more, or I'm just literally going to strengthen myself. Like, it's hard because, I don't know, it's hard. Nobody wants to feel that pain, but one thing that I definitely heard, I think I was listening to another podcast, and they were talking about how their trainer told them, like, okay, it doesn't count until it hurts. Like, they're doing certain stuff, and, like, they'll start counting once you're like, ugh. Because it's like, okay, those are the ones that count. Like, those are the ones that are getting your strength up. Because it's like, all right, so say you hit 10, and you do 2 more. Them 2 hurt real bad. But the next time you're going to do 12, and it's nothing. Now you're hitting 15. But those ones after 10 are the ones that hurt, and that's what count. And I really held on to that just in life. You know what I mean? Not saying that things gotta hurt, but it don't count until it's hard. You know, and I thought that was such a good, like, okay, yeah, like, that's true, because if I'm used to doing 10 and 10 and 10 and 10, but then them 2 hurt, but then I'm doing them 2 every time, it's like, oh, that was my building stage. You know, and that's just in life. You know?
Literally. Literally, it's like when stuff breaks you down, it only breaks you to make you stronger.
Yeah, because now you know for a fact. Once you get through something, you know for a fact you can get through it. And I don't think there's anything more empowering than that, than to make it through something. Like, you know, but versus, like, we walk around and we're scared to face certain things, but once you face it, because it's inevitable, you're going to face your fears one day. And once you do face it and you get past it, you're like, oh, okay, I'm stronger than I thought I was. Because I thought this would break me. I'm like, all right, this right here will end me, like, over. But then you get past it, you're like, oh, all right, like, shoot. You know?
That's why I love the motto, stronger than you think. You are so much stronger than you think. Literally, like, and like you just said, it's really like it's like an empowering feeling, like, wow, I really did that. Like, I'm really the shit for her.
Right,
I really did that. I'm telling you, we gotta, y'all, listen, we be so focused on pouring into others. Like, yes, you have to pour into others, but you have to make it a point to pour into yourself.
Yes.
You have to speak life into yourself. You have to. Some people might think it's conceited. It's not. Don't let these people out here tell you that. Don't let nobody tell you that. Speak life into yourself, because especially if you feel like you don't have people around you speaking life into you, which a lot of people, you feel me, don't, and that's okay. You got to find those type of people. You got to be able to be around those type of people, but the more you speak life into yourself, life will start speaking back into you.
Very much. And I feel like even that will attract those type of people as well, because like if you're just used to negativity and you're used to being like, oh, I'm so fat, or I'm lazy, or I ain't going to do no good at that, I'm going to just stick to what I know. And like, people who are speaking life into you are going to they'll get discouraged. So they're like, well, you know what I mean? But if you're not how to speak life into yourself and just speak life, period, you'll attract those kind of people to you that will be on your team, because you're on your team.
Exactly.
It's hard to hop on somebody's team that's not on their own team. You know what I mean? So I always think that everything starts with self, because I always tell people, like, how I'm going to be confident in what you're telling me if you're not confident in what you're telling me? Like, you don't even believe you, so how am I going to believe you? That's tough. Like, we can always see people's potential, but when you're trying to convince someone of something else, like, it's hard if you, the speaker, doesn't believe what they're saying. You know, so when it comes to training, I think that's definitely, I wanted to definitely touch on that too with you, like, as far as how do you get people to believe you, because the trainers that I feel like I work the best with are people that I believe. Like, oh, you're telling me this not to hype me up, but you're for real and I believe you. You know what I mean? So, like, how do you feel about that?
Honestly, I think I'm like a visual person. So, I mean, it's just like actions speak louder than words, you know.
Right.
Like I could tell y'all as much as possible, but you still might not believe me. So I started telling people to take pictures of themselves. We don't touch the scale. I mean, if you touch the scale, that's more so on some for you to find it. But in all honesty, like, I will yell at people like, on my life, don't get on that scale, because it's discouraging. So we take pictures, and then it's just about trust at that point. I work a lot on building trust, and then you see. You see, then they start to see. I've had clients send me like 1 month results and be like, yo, and I'd be like, I told you, but you weren't going to believe me until you seen it for yourself. So honestly, it's kind of just like that. Like, you gotta be able to trust who you're talking to type stuff, and see if you can catch the vibe. You know, energies are real. See if you can feel their energy through it and be like, okay, they know. Or honestly, I would say, like, do your research on the people. Go back and look through their page, look through their pictures. Do they look like they're progressing? Do they look like they're staying the same? Do they look like, you know, they've evolved? Because you're not going to be perfect from the moment you started your journey to right now. I definitely am not. Things have changed drastically. But that's my point. Like, I think me just being like transparent and showing like my growth allowed then people to be like, okay, she clearly knows what she's doing or what she's talking about, or, you know, there's just something about her that, let me just check it out. And it just went from there, honestly. So that's why I always tell people, like, don't ever like delete where you started from.
Right. Because people want to forget that, and it's like, no, that's what made you.
Literally.
Tell us a little bit about how you feel about how can people stay motivated when they see the results. So we talked a lot about how when people don't see the results and they get discouraged. What about when people get big-headed and they see the results and they're like, oh, okay, job's done, you know? What do you tell them? Like,
as quickly as you got there is as quickly as you could fall off. And that has happened to me. I've had that happen to me myself. So I mean, basically it's just on the whole aspect of, like I just said, like, just because you have the results now doesn't mean you're going to have the results later. And you just have to stay consistent, and that's why you have to make it a point to understand, like, you might be doing this for a way you want to look or whatever, but it's really a whole lifestyle change. It's a transformation, and that's why I think I reside with the whole transformation coach or transformation lifestyle coach or whatever you want to call it, because, like, it's really about just improving ourselves as human beings. And you know, like, you just got to stay motivated, because you got to want better for yourself. Like, if I get to where I want to be and I'd be like, I did the work, you know, bump it. Now I could do whatever else I want to do. Like, I'm not gonna be the same me. I'm not. And you're gonna get humbled. You're gonna get humbled real quick, and we get humbled daily. Ain't that the part? So I done been humbled times in my life, and like I said, as quickly as you can get those results is as quickly as they'll fall off, and then you'll just be that much more frustrated with yourself with, you know, not still having where you were, and be like, dang, I really used to be X, Y, and Z, and that just is the biggest, like, ugh. And that takes you into a depression. It takes you back into a state. Man,
to have something and lose it is a lot tougher than to have never had something and be striving for it. But to have something and completely fall off and lose it, that's a whole nother beast. That's a whole nother beast.
So I would say my biggest thing that I constantly tell myself is, the slightest moment I feel, not even like cockiness or conceitedness or anything like that, the slightest moment I feel like, you know what, I could let up just a little bit, I tell myself and I talk to myself and I say, do you want to go back to where you were when you were at the lowest point in your life? Because it's a trickle effect. Like, I could be at the top, and then something happened and I'd be here, and then me not respond to it properly, and then be here, and the next thing I know, I'm all the way back here. So it's a constant talk to myself of, you better not allow yourself to get back to where you were, because you remember what it felt like, you remember how hard it was to get out of there, and you can't do that to yourself. You owe yourself so much more, you are worth so much more, you are valued so much more, and that's just not what we're on. I'm on elevation. I'm on elevation, exactly, not decline. And I mean, I'm sure it is the same for people who don't have kids, but I have kids, so to me, it's deeper than that, because if I fail, then I feel as if I failed my kids.
Right.
And I don't want that to ever happen.
Right.
I don't want that to ever happen. I'm trying to do everything that I'm doing, again, so that I can be the best me that I could be, not just for myself, but for them.
Right.
So that then they can be the best versions of their self, and they don't have to deal with generational curses or,
right.
you know, the cruelty that they're already going to deal with in society and in the world, that you know, just people be cruel, people be evil, and don't have hearts or souls. So it's sad.
It is.
It's really sad, but I mean, you just gotta, again, talk that shit to yourself. The moment you start to feel yourself slip, and if you can't do it, you better find yourself someone who can.
Yes.
Find you someone who genuinely cares about seeing you succeed.
Yeah.
And being like, yo, whether you send me a picture with inspirational quotes, or, you know, I could do a phone call or a Zoom call or whatever. Like, my people know, like, as long as I'm not, like, busy, like, dealing with somebody else or my children, you could call me.
Right.
I'll pick up. We could FaceTime. We could Zoom. Whatever you want to talk about. It don't even got to be fitness related.
Right.
I have people who will literally just open up to me in the middle of a session. Sometimes they'll come to a session and be like, I'm not feeling it today. I need to just, and I'd be like, we could do that. And then if you're feeling like you want to do something, I'm going to still put you through like a little quick 10-15 minute thing. But again, mental is just as important as physical. And, you know, sometimes people just be needing to talk about stuff. Sometimes people don't even want or need responses. They just need a listening ear, because if I keep bottled inside how I'm feeling or what I'm going through, and if I could communicate that to somebody, then I'm going to feel that much better. Like, okay, well, now I'm not acting off of emotion. Now I can act off of, or I could breathe a little bit and be like, all right, but now I know how to respond to this. Exactly. Exactly. And put myself into some stuff that I ain't trying to be in. Right. Going backwards.
Right.
But
because shoot, that fall, I feel like when you, like I said again, like when you elevate and then you fall, like, because that we have not only the bottom that we already felt, but now you have the impact of the fall. So that low can become even lower. And you've come out of this low before, but you never came out of this low before. So now that's a whole nother process, and you got to get back up there. But I feel like another thing, I'm so big on quotes and like things that people say to keep me inspired. You know, I strongly believe in God. I talk about it all the time, but I really do feel like when we do have those lows and we fall, it's because we might forget what's important when we're up here. So then you gotta fall, because it's kind of like a bow and arrow. You know what I mean? Like, in order for that bow, in order for the arrow to go as far as you need it to go, you gotta build up the strength to pull it back as far as you can. So some of the times when you hit them lows, that's kind of your bow pulling you back. You know, which would be like your belief system or whatever it is that's guiding your life. That's your bow pulling you back so that you can skyrocket up. Because just the same as that impact pushing you down lower than your first low, your skyrocket up is going to be higher than your first high. You know what I mean? So I truly believe in that, and that makes me want to move into what your belief system is, because I feel like beyond consistency and, you know, anything physical, you have to have some type of belief system that keeps your spirit strong enough to stay motivated just in life, you know, to make you even feel like you're worthy enough to elevate and continue working out and help other people. You know what I mean? So, like, what does that look like for you? So,
I feel like you touched on it perfectly. You use the term spirit, and that's honestly what I would say, like, spiritual beliefs. I was a very religious person. I grew up in a very religious household, and I'm not saying that I'm not trying to tie myself to religion, but I think people get fixated or get caught up so much in religion and what those beliefs are and all of that, that it disconnects them from God, from Jesus, from all of that. And that's just not what I'm on. We are all spiritual beings. We are spirits. We are spirits living in human form, body form. So a lot of the times people allow their flesh to react and not pay attention to their spirit.
True. So, and religion is for the flesh. It's
all the time.
It's practice. And I'm happy you said that, because like you said, religion can literally stand in between the relationship, which is what matters. The relationship is what matters, not the religion. So, like, that spiritual relationship and connection and being able to be in tune is what matters, not the religion. So I just wanted to say that.
But that's very true, and that's why 2020, December of 2020 to be exact, I was already on my fitness journey. March of 2020, I believe it was, like prime COVID times. Like I said, was really like doing it like lives every single night, free workouts, free pop-up workouts outside. Then I did a couple of classes at a boxing gym, and then some personal things that happened to me in my life, and it caused me to go back into a deep down depression. And I had to tell myself, like, and this was before, you know, I was still on my like stuck in religion and being like, well, Dad, maybe I don't go to church enough, or maybe I don't do this enough, or whatever. And I don't even know how it fell into my lap. But somehow I came across this book called The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. And it's on Amazon, and it's only like $13 now. I think I got it at the time for like $7, but you could read it in like an hour and a half.
Oh, okay.
And
so it's like a self-help kind of book.
Exactly. But it, I don't know. Not that I do enjoy reading, but it's one of those things. I'm like, I have to read to be like, oh wait, I like reading.
Yeah.
So I read it, and it was so quick, and it was so impactful, and it opened my mind, and it really started me on what I say was my spiritual journey, and understanding like, oh wait, I am a spirit. I need to start acting like I am a spirit and have a soul, and what I need to do to attract these things that I'm trying to attract or like manifest into my life. And honestly, whenever I did that, it like opened my mind up, because it talked about like the laws of success, the laws of purpose and potentiality, and like the law of detachment, and just like stuff like that. And it just helped me have a more open mind, which I feel like the spiritual side does, like allows you to be more open to receiving what life is really about. And understanding the importance of energies and treating people right, and you know, just being genuine and spreading love. And
for sure,
it really just started me on my journey from there, and I feel like it shifted me into the person I am today. I feel like it helped me understand self-love more. It helped me understand what I needed to do to get my mindset right, to get myself right. And like I said, just not that I ever was judgy, but just straying away from that judgy mentality of like somebody feeling or telling me like, yo, you ain't been to here and it's been some years, and you're just having all these kids.
Yeah, you have all these kids
out of wedlock, and you know, you might be shunned. And I'm like, well, dang, I feel like I'm a cool person still. They're not intentional. This wasn't supposed to happen, but like, what? Literally, I was like, dang. I was like, Lord, do you still love me? But no, seriously, I was like, you know, I just have to work on really building my own relationship with God. I have to really like take time. I spent a lot of time with myself. Like, I spent a lot of time with myself, and in that time I wasn't teaching classes. I wasn't really even doing that many videos or anything. I really did a lot of research. I educated myself on a lot of things. I educated myself a lot on the mindset, on the spirit, physical activity, all of that, what I needed to do to change, because the way that I was operating myself and this brand that I was trying to build. But yeah, this is for all my moms out there, and it's just that mindset of understanding and knowing like you're really truly more than a mom, because that can lead you into depression too. Like really feeling like, well, Dad, all I do is take care of kids, have kids, go to work, come home, clean, cook, do this, tend to other people. Don't nobody ask me how I'm feeling. Don't nobody ask me what I want to do, or you know, value me as more than being just a mom. I am more than just a mom. I have more to offer. Like that's just another level of me. So I made it a point. I didn't care what people thought. I didn't care how people felt. This is me. This is me. Y'all, I'm not trying to act like nobody else. This is me. This is who I've always been. You can ask my family, who has raised me and known me since I was born. This is who I've always been. But I've always been seen as shy little church girl who's supposed to be quiet, and not talk that much, and just be nice little Kayla, which I'm still nice. But I'm just saying, like, it just really was a beautiful thing, and just helped me really like love myself more, and work on self-love more and understand, like, girl, you are you.
Mm-hmm.
A mom is just an added bonus.
Yes.
Like, that just elevates you even more. But
Yes.
you are you. And you just need to focus on doing whatever resides with you, whatever God feels like aligns with you. So I just ask God to continue to guide me. Like, listen, I don't know where you're trying to take me. I don't know if you want me to coach people. I don't know if you want me to coach a class. I don't know if you want me to speak in front of people. I don't know if you want me to have a show. I don't know what you want me to do.
Right.
But I felt like I also had to go through that deep moment, because the way I was going, I was being really like strict and by the books. Like, okay, I'm gonna be an instructor and blah 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 blah.
Right.
I was just like, I don't know. So I just kind of like in this journey have just allowed God to guide me and just try to inspire people through me just evolving.
Right, and just being yourself. And I feel like that speaks to such a freedom. Whenever you do like gain that relationship and start to build that trust, and like you said, just being yourself unapologetically, like, look, this is me, this is how I've always been. I don't care what people think no more. And also realizing, like, the only person you got to care about is God, and how he's guiding you to do what it is that you need to do. You know what I mean? And just having that trust and realizing, like, all right, I don't got all the answers, but I know that my belief system works, and I'm going to rely on that. Like, that comes with such a peace and such a freedom that is, like, kind of unexplainable, you know? But for those, like, it's one of those if you know type of thing. And it's, again, I be wanting everybody to know, man. Like, I want everybody to know, because I feel like everyone deserves to, you know? Like, just how the world always says, like, everybody deserves a second chance. Absolutely. And I feel like the second chance is freedom. You know what I mean? Like, be free, and by be free, I don't mean just do any and every old thing, because with freedom, you also have to be rational. You got to make good decisions, and you have to so with loving yourself comes discipline. You know what I mean? You got to do stuff that makes you uncomfortable sometimes. It's not about sitting around being comfortable. You got to be uncomfortable. You got to be willing to challenge yourself, because like we said, it doesn't count until it hurts or until it's hard. I want to say hard because I don't want to say hurt, but it don't count until it's hard, because that's when you know you're pushing yourself, you know, beyond the limits that you've given yourself. And yeah, I feel like that's where the real work begins, man. Like, just, and that's where the real freedom begins, when you cool with that. You're like, all right, I'm not gonna be happy every day. It's cool if I wake up and I'm not happy, like, but I know that I'm gonna make it to tomorrow, and tomorrow's gonna be a better day. And you know what I mean? Everything's for something. Ain't none of this time just wasted. So yeah.
Literally. And I think I just really valued and worked on, like, expressing gratitude more, and just understanding how to be, like, not that I wasn't always genuine or felt like I was a genuine person, but just really trying to be, like, I don't know, just, like, you know, focused on, like, protecting my peace, making sure and making it a point to tell people, like, you gotta learn how to do, like, healthy boundaries, like, that be real. You gotta do it to loved ones, to significant others, to family members, to, you know, friends. You have to do it. You have to do whatever aligns with you that's gonna make you better. But like you said, not ain't nobody saying wow out, but you gotta do what's best for you. You have to get a little selfish with yourself. If you want what's best for yourself, you have to get selfish in your decisions, and, you know, just trust God, trust the process, trust God. Let him help you, let him guide you. But expressing that gratitude, I grounded myself more. I focused on prayer and meditation more, and just like I said, God always, there's a statement that says, you know, God will always separate you before he elevates you and next levels you. And I really tried to, in that time, understand that and sit with myself and be like, you know what? Let me not feel like I have to reach out to people. Let me if nobody reaches out to, it's okay. It's okay, because I need to spend time with myself, because that's when God talks to you. Because he also says sometimes we have too many voices speaking to us that we can't even hear his own voice. So he might be telling us something, but we got all these other energies and spirits and people talking to us, and we're like, we don't even hear what he's trying to say. So we're taking guidance and information from other people, and they might be steering us wrong. We don't know if it's acts of the enemy, and that's no knock against nobody, but sometimes, and it might not be what they feel like their intentions are, but sometimes it be whatever spirits or energies are attached to them. And that's why I'm so, like, I focus so much on protecting my peace and paying attention to my intuition and feeling like, okay, like, Do I feel like something is trying to attack? And if I feel like something's wrong, I reach out to the proper people for help and guidance and being like, well, what do you think? What do I need to do? Help me understand. Or like I said, I'll go back into prayer and I'll just ask God, like, listen, please calm my spirit. Help me understand to listen to you more, or guide me, or just keep me protected and understanding what to do.
I love that. Because for real, that's like trust. If you can't put your trust into anything, you can put your trust into God, and that really matters. Like you said, with all the voices, we live in an age of influencers.
Yes.
And this is why I do this YouTube show, because I feel like there's not enough people just being genuine on camera. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that I'm completely just being all out in the open and letting my full self on camera. Yeah, I'm getting more and more comfortable every time. But I do feel like it's more so like, all right, let's stay in the algorithm. We need to do this. We need to show butt. We need to put on
yes,
we need to put on bikinis.
Yes.
We need to, you know what I mean? We need to be talking about lifestyle and glamour, and that makes people, like you said, that blocks out what you need to really be focused on, because now you're focused on chasing money and chasing glam and chasing what looks good. All perception. This is all perception.
All of it.
And there's so many of them people who their life looks so glamorous, and like, you know, we're receiving it as in like, oh, that's where I want to be. But those are the most depressed, unhappy, lonely, lost. You know, they don't know they don't know who they are. They are allowing society and other influencers to teach them who they are, who they want to be, versus really being themselves. And man,
girl, you know I know.
Girl, yes, and you have kids, so I know. I think about these kids all the time. I fear for these kids. I'm like, oh my God, like, what are they watching? Like, you know what I mean? Whatever agenda people want to put out, they could just put it in the media, and it's just there. And that's hard. That's so hard.
It is hard, because too, everybody doesn't have that mindset, and some people, like, you know, that's why I really try, because there's power in words, and I try to stray away from saying like, oh, these kids is bad. No, in reality, kids are just products of their environment, like you and me. We're just products of whatever we experienced in our life that molded us into the person who we are today. How we think, how we act, how we respond to things, all of that. So when I say focus on your mental health, for real, it all starts in focus on healing your inner child. Focus on understanding why you respond to things the way you do. Focus on understanding why you think the way you do, why you act the way you do, what might have happened to you, and you have to heal from that. If you don't try to heal from that, you will never be who you're trying to truly be. You won't, and you will never feel true peace and happiness. You have to heal it. It's going to be hard. It's not supposed to be easy. But, I mean, what are we doing for the generations underneath us if we don't try to focus on healing who we are? You know what I mean?
Yes, and being able, and speaking of the generation beneath us, being able to see that bigger picture, because we're so focused on what we want and what we want to experience in life, and do that for sure. Like, try to do everything you want to do, but also make sure that you make it priority to make this world better for the next generation, because when we're gone and we're out of here, they gotta sit in our shit.
Literally.
You know what I mean? So it's like all this stuff that we're creating and everything that we're putting out matters for our kids, our grandkids, and beyond. You know what I mean? And we are creating all this chaos in the world, whether we see it or not. When you participate in it, you're adding to it. You're creating it. And I feel like
I was just about to say.
I'm like, we getting real deep into this.
Let's try it out.
Yeah, we gotta try this before the episode ends, because I feel like we're coming to a really good ending point. But I really hope, audience, I really hope y'all are taking something from this, because I think that these are very important topics, honestly, like physical, mental health, and the way that what we put out into the world and what we receive from the world is so important. Alright, that's probably a little bigger than a taste. Let's see. So this is the surprise one, because they didn't tell us how it tasted or anything.
It smells interesting.
Based off the smell, I feel like I'm gonna like it.
It's not bad. I've had extreme dry. I've had extreme dry. What do you think?
It's not bad at all. It's boring.
It is. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
it really boring. Don't have. It's just.
It's bland.
Literally, like tastes like.
I like how it sits on the tongue. Like, I like the texture of it. It's pretty thin and it's dry, but it doesn't have any flavor.
I would say if you're just trying to be sophisticated and be like, yeah, I drink red wine. I drink that red wine.
Like, it's for the look. Like, it looks and smells and
Literally.
tastes. That's crazy.
But you're right. It literally doesn't have it's just like, it has no character to it or personality.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, what could you eat with that to make it? Maybe this is like a
honestly,
dinner wine?
that's what I was gonna say.
Mhm.
I would say it'd be like a little dinner wine, you know,
Yeah,
a nicer
something
meal,
salty.
like a baked chicken or a
You
stuffed
got into
salmon
it,
or
girl.
something.
Get into it then,
Shoot,
Yes.
if you are a red meat eater, a steak would pair well with this.
You know what? And see, I'm not a red meat eater, but I totally agree with that.
That would have been my first meat that I would have said, but I ain't trying to push red meat all like that.
No,
What?
that would match real good with this though. Red
Mhm.
meat would, because it has that, like that grit and that saltiness to it,
Mhm.
like already.
Mhm.
Like, I don't want to say like that bloodiness, but you know what I mean.
I know exactly
Yeah.
what you mean. That's literally what it tastes like.
This would be good for that because it has the bare minimum sweetness to it, to where it's like you gotta have something salty for this to give you anything.
Literally.
Like,
Literally.
But-
But I am not a dry wine drinker, and
I am.
I feel as if I could tolerate it.
Yeah, because it's not that dry. That's not
Literally.
like it's boring. It doesn't even give you like if I'm gonna have something that's dry, not fruity, I at least want it to kind of give me a kick, like ugh. But it don't even do that. It's just like okay.
It definitely don't do that. It literally just tastes like you just sipping on something. Like
Something like you're just doing something. Well, on that note, we're going to end this episode, you guys. I really hope y'all took a lot away. I feel like this conversation had so much substance. So please make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends, because you don't want to just take all this tea to yourself. Make sure you share it with
Literally.
your friends.
come catch this vibe with her.
Yes.
She's a vibe.
Thank
This is
you
a vibe.
so much. And I love having you on here. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much
for
coming.
having me. Seriously.
I feel like the more sips I take, I'm starting to like it more.
That's how I feel too.
It's still kind of bland.
It
but-
definitely gives a grown and sexy feel. Like I definitely feel like
Black
it should be like
dress.
candlelit dinner, you know, nice little
Yes.
maybe Eddie V vibes or something.
Yes.
but
it
It definitely is. I don't really know no other fancy restaurants in Pittsburgh. That's
I'm
so
cracking
sad.
that Capitol Grill and little stuff like that. But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you tune into all the other episodes that you might not have seen and stay caught up, because we're going to be here every week. Sometimes I'll take a bye week just because I did a little rest week, but we will be here every week, every Wednesday. So make sure you tune in. Bye.